So we're getting ready for the class we have this weekend at Hurlock, Maryland. It's on the Eastern Shore, so we gotta get a few things together and take it over there. Today we're gonna take the trailer over there for the range part, and on our way out there on Saturday we'll take out the Big Bertha trailer. So let's get out there and get this going. So we're stopping by real quick on our way over to Eastern Shore. This is at Anglers, Hunting and Fishing. They do a lot of tackle, but they also sell guns here. The Raffle Route 50, right before you get to the bridge. But they have an outside corkboard, and whenever I'm passing through the area, I try to put new brochures and new business cards just to kind of advertise, because we actually do classes in this area, in the Edgewater, Annapolis area. So let's go and see how many cards we got left and put some new ones up.
To be right when the world is wrong. I'm so sorry to hear that you crestfallen alone now. Do you believe it is new? Something bigger than you.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you today?
Good, good. How are you?
Good.
I got those 2 emails sent out for Hurlock this weekend.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draft up Solomon's today, too.
Okay.
I saw yesterday when I was updating the class totals and stuff, you had stuff booked all the way out to the end of April.
Yep, yeah. Yep. So, yeah, we got a pretty laid out schedule and stuff. Trying to think. Let me know, because I know you said you had a bunch of weddings and stuff in general coming up. Let me know if any of the stuff I have scheduled, if any of that, doesn't jive at all. Because obviously, whenever I can, especially for some of the potentially bigger class, I try to make sure you're there. So let me know on that, and how that all looks for you. Because obviously, many of those don't have people signed up for them yet. So if we had to make a change, we could make a change.
Yesterday, I started looking into the Ducks Unlimited stuff, and I couldn't find anything on their website about vendors, but I sent them an email. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them to see if that's even an option.
Okay. Yeah, if you can look into Ducks Unlimited as well as Delta Waterfowl. I've dealt with both of them in the past.
Okay. Charlie bought a table for the Ducks Unlimited banquet, so I won't be able to work that as a vendor, but I will be there for support.
And that's another thing too. I mean, like we don't so much have to be there as a vendor either. Like especially sometimes, like I want to just get a table and just enjoy ourselves and stuff. I've done that. Like that's when I did the Delta Waterfowl and the Ducks Unlimited. That's what we did. We were there as a company with a table, not as a vendor per se. So, but that, and we would donate like something to the silent auction part and stuff and whatnot. So like if you can, like I said, go ahead and draft up Solomon's and La Plata when you get a chance, and let me know when that's good. I'll go ahead and go through there and get those all sent out.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yes, sir.
But you got this creepy dude walking around taking your picture.
I know. It's for YouTube. How far do you, I think my GPS said like 10 minutes. How far do you think you're away from like the center? Do you know where that's at? Off like Lord's Crossing Road?
From here?
Yeah. Like 10 minutes, you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. Because what we do a lot of times is like we'll cut them for lunch for like an hour And like, if they're not from this area, I'll tell them like, hey, you can just, I'll give them the address to here if they want to come by here and stuff, and they get lunch here on Saturday and/or on Sunday.
I've got a bunch of friends that would be more than supportive of what you guys do.
Cool. I appreciate it.
My whole family basically is made up of business owners.
Yeah. That, and like you're talking about getting a permit and stuff. Being a business owner, it doesn't matter what kind of business, and it doesn't matter if you handle cash or not. That's the easiest way to get a permit in Maryland.
Somebody had told me, I want to say it was a state trooper, that there was some dialogue you needed to give them for why you need it.
Yeah, yes and no. That used to be more of a thing. It's less of a thing now. Yeah, I mean, if you simply say, hey, I'm a business owner and I want to be able to carry my handgun because of the threats that are associated with doing that, that's pretty much all you have to put nowadays. You used to be able to put like a whole paragraph or two and stuff and really explain. That's not really necessary anymore, though. What kind of training you interested in, possibly?
Probably. It's mainly frustrating pistols.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, so we do a lot of like this weekend. We're we're doing that class as well as the carry class from Maryland as well too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, this can be in Hurlock.
It's Hurlock. It's going to be at the center. The Thrent. I think it's Thendera. So, yep.
Wait, what you said? You said it's going to be at the center?
Yeah, it's called the Thendera.
Okay.
Yep. It's off of, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been out of shape for quite a few years.
Oh yeah, no worries. What branch were you?
Army.
All right. Sorry to hear that. Marine Corps.
Army.
Yes,
Army
sir.
Rangers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So we stopped in to get gas and a Monster and use the bathroom quick. But we found this little seafood joint right next to us, built in the same building as the gas station. It's called L&T Seafood. It's in Preston, Maryland. And but yeah, let's go over there and see what they got over there. And I'm glad we did, because they got some great ass food. I just got these. I think I got the crab taquitos. I got Cajun shrimp. Old boy over here got the coconut shrimp and French fries. All the food looks really good. They come with some seasoning on that stuff. If you're ever in the area, stop by L&T Seafood in Preston, Maryland. This is going to be on my new list. I'm going to stop by there again on Saturday when we're here for class too.
Hello, thank you for calling the Oyster Festival.
Hey, how's it going, ma'am? This is Ryan Gass with PTP.
Ryan, it's Karen. I had a skipped voice message on my machine and I could only hear half the number, so I scrolled back through my missed calls and just called you and realized, okay, I have talked to you, we're all set, you're good to go.
Yep, yes,
so
ma'am.
I should have left you a message, sorry.
No worries, no worries. I have two phones, and this one I called you back on. This one's hooked to my Bluetooth, so that's why I called you on this phone. So
okay, but we're all good. I've got, you've got your space lined up, so we're all set for the Oyster Festival. So.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, ma'am. Did you get the check and everything?
I'm actually on my way to the mailbox now, so I'm sure it's there.
Cool, sounds good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Just got the phone with the coordinator for the Oyster Festival. That is next weekend. We have a booth that we're gonna have set up there, much like we had at the county fair. It's also at the same location, happens to be at the St. Mary's County Fairgrounds. And this is the U.S. Oyster Festival. So they got people coming from all around, obviously a lot throughout Maryland, but people from even outside of Maryland are coming for this Oyster Festival. So it'll be a good place to be able to see and be seen and get some advertising and stuff done. We're giving away a lot of oyster knives. We're selling a lot of merchandise and stuff and getting people signed up for our remaining class that we have for the rest of the year, which at that point will be October 30th and 31st in La Plata, which may be sold out at that point. November's already sold out. And then we still have October 4th and 5th in Brandywine, and December 4th and 5th in Brandywine, December 11th and 12th in Lexington Park. So we'll be selling those classes, hopefully filling those ones up, and then we'll also be selling our 2022 classes, because we already added a bunch for 2022. We have our schedule already laid out for now all the way until April, as of right now. And in the next coming week or two, we're going to have our schedule laid out all the way until June. So it's good to have those plans already set up and have everything good to go. And then it's a matter of advertising and selling those classes, filling them up, and then putting on the class itself. So we're real excited for the year to come. Park the trailer back at the range in preparation for the range part on Sunday, but we had to get some of these trees limbs cut out of the way so we can get the trailer back here. So we're just gonna get this stuff out of the way. All right, let's walk back and we'll see if the rest of the path is clear. Walk through the truck back through here. So this is the path back to the range. We're gonna drive the trailer back through here. Just wanna double check, make sure everything's cleared out before take the truck down through here. And then get the trailer stage down here, make sure it's all secure, and head on back to the other side of the bay. So we're on our way back from Hurlock, pulling through Brandywine. I'm gonna stop back here and check on one of the properties we use for shooting, just to see how everything's going out there. Maybe run into the property owner, check in with him. We got the trailer over there in Hurlock today, the one that we're gonna use for the range. When we go out to class on Saturday, on our way out there, we're gonna take the Big Bertha trailer, and that's gonna have our supplies and everything we need for the classroom portion itself. And we'll bring that back on the end of Saturday, and then when I go out there on Sunday, when that day is over for the range, I'll bring the range trailer back on that day. But we got mostly everything set up for Saturday. I'm just going to double check. I'm going to call the fingerprint guy, make sure everything's good to go with him, and then it's just a matter of letting Erin do her part of her job, which today she sent out the informational emails to the registered students. Now she's getting some information from them that she needs in preparation for Saturday, and so is the fingerprint guy. He gets a form from them as well that has all the information that he needs to be able to conduct the fingerprint services for them as well. So we call him in a little bit and see how that's all going. While we do have a class coming up this weekend on the Eastern Shore, and it's 2 months away before we have this Brandywine class, there's a lot of things that go into making each class happen, and it doesn't just happen in the days leading up to that class. We've got to maintain some of these spots that we do training at. We've got to maintain the relationships with the property owners and the host that we do classes at, even if we don't even have a class scheduled at a particular location. We have a spot that we use for shooting in Denton, Maryland, and we're getting hoodies ordered and stuff, and I'm still taking care of those hosts. Even though I haven't had a class there in probably over a year, even though I don't have another class scheduled there currently on the books, I still want to maintain those relationships and keep those hosts happy, because without our host and the host properties, we can't do what we do. So I'm just stopping by here, checking out the property, make sure everything looks good to go. Kind of hoping we might run into the property owner, but if we don't, we don't. A lot of times he's out here working the land or doing this or doing that, so I'm hoping I get to run into him and further cultivate that relationship. But this is a beautiful time of the year actually be out here, and he actually rents this property out, not only to the farmers, not only allows me to do shooting out here, but he also has found a way to capitalize on the property, and he actually has developed little campsites on the property. And kind of like an Airbnb, he rents these campsites out on his property via a app. I think it's called Hip Camp, and so that's one of the things that we also got to coordinate with him too is, hey, we're going to be out there shooting December 4th and 5th. We'll just make sure that we lock in and make sure that there's no one camping during that time, because we don't want, for multiple things, we want to make sure we ensure safety of ourselves and those on the property, but also make sure that we're not pissing off clients of his that are out here supposed to be enjoying the scenery and all that good stuff, but then they got a person, doing a shooting class on the property. So a lot of things that go into that, a lot of moving parts. So so yeah, just down here exploring a little bit. This is neat as shit. I bet you he shoots a shit ton of ducks out here. Definitely very high tide. It's kind of overtaking his dock here, but we got actually a storm rolling through, real nice looking. About to get poured on, but he's got a beautiful area down here. Around, again, this is kind of the upper portion of the Patuxent River. So I know I've been down a little farther south, about a mile or so south of here, and been out crabbing with my in-laws and stuff. This is beautiful out here. I'm gonna have to talk to him, see if I can't go duck hunting or do something with him out here. So we got a lot of stuff done and ready for Hurlock this weekend. Prince, a lot of the remaining work that's going into preparation for this weekend is Erin doing a lot of what she does best, getting all the paperwork, put together and ready so that when people come on Saturday morning, they're checking in and we got everything set in place, and it's just a matter of getting the fingerprints done, getting the photographs done, and then me doing my job, which comes to the main part, which is the training itself. So this is where she really comes in and where she really shines. We'll have the big Bertha trailer with all the administrative stuff and things that she needs within out there with us on Saturday, and I'm really excited to it. We've had a slow couple weeks and stuff, but it's gonna be a big weekend for us, and then it's gonna be kind of a prelude to next weekend going into Solomons. We're gonna have a big busy weekend next weekend. We got, I believe it's 30 students lined up for next weekend in Solomons. So looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend on Saturday in Hurlock. Real excited. We got the students starting to show up now and do their fingerprints and the check-in with Erin. Now it's a matter of hurry up and wait. Hurry up and get here, get all set up, let Erin do what she does best. And class is going to start right at 8. I'll do an introduction and tell people how the day's going to go, and we'll get right into the instruction. I'm real excited. This is my first class back in about 2 weeks. I had the other 2 classes in the recent weekends. We had some other instructors teach it on our team. But excited to get back at it. And this is our first time actually back on the Eastern Shore. Well, not back on the Eastern Shore. We were in Ocean City back in June. But this is our first time back in this part of Eastern Shore, because in the last 2 years we just been keep on doing classes in Ocean City, because a lot of the venues that we've been using in like the Easton, Denton, Salisbury areas, they haven't been open for business. They have either changed the way they do business, or they've been having restrictions because of local governments. So this is our first time being able to find a good venue in the region and do a class. So I'm real excited to be back in this area, and we're going to be scheduling some more in this Easton, Hurlock, Denton area over the next couple months. So be sure to look on that for PTPGun.com. My name is Ryan Gass. I'm the owner and lead instructor for PTP. I started carrying a handgun while in the Marine Corps, outside of the Marine Corps stuff. I started buying firearms, when I became of age, and posting that, oh, look at my new gun and stuff on Facebook and whatnot. And I actually had a buddy he lives here in Maryland, but he's from North Carolina, and he had messaged me. He's like, hey man, you ever thought about getting into carrying? I see you're getting the guns now. You ever carried? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't even understand the concept of what that word meant in that context. I was like, what do you mean carrying a gun? I was like, he was like, oh yeah, if you in North Carolina, if you want, you can open carry without a permit. You can still carry with a permit out in town and stuff. It's not too hard to get and stuff like that. And that's kind of when it started with my eyes to that. And I remember looking on the internet, because everyone's got to look on the internet, and everything on the internet's got to be true, right? And it was lining up with what he was saying, but I was like, So I remember I called Onslow County Sheriff's Office. I was like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm hearing. Can you confirm some of this stuff for me? And she was like, yeah, you can open carry without a permit and stuff. And I was like, well, just to be clear, I'm still a Maryland resident. Like, I'm stationed here, but I'm a Maryland resident. And she's like, it doesn't matter. You're lawfully in the United States, aren't you? You know, and then I was like, all right, well, what about concealed carry? Oh yeah, you gotta do this and this, and then you're good. I was like, again, what if I'm a Maryland resident? They're like, yeah, you're good. So I started doing the paperwork for the concealed carry. I started in the meantime open carrying. I remember my first time open carrying. I had a Glock 22, which is a 40 caliber, and I went out to like the next gun show I found and bought like the first holster I found. And I remember I put it in the holster and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out and open carry, you know, because I can, and just to test it out. And I remember going to Walmart, because if you're gonna go carry anywhere, where are you gonna carry? You're gonna carry Walmart, right? And I remember I parked at the garden section. I was walking in. I walked past this guy, and he was walking out with his kids. And he was like, "Hey man, your gun's showing." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm open carrying. You know, I don't have my permit yet. It's in the process, but I'm open carrying until then." He's like, "No man, you can't do that." And I was like, "No, I can." And he was like, "No, bro, you can't." And I was like, "All right, have a nice day, sir." And like in my mind, like I acted like I was confident, but in my mind I was like, "Oh shit, I'm going to get arrested." You know, like he's gonna call the cops. I'm gonna get shot. What I say or do, what we train this weekend and stuff, that's how it's gonna be in the beginning for you. You're gonna be kind of like, if you've never carried a gun before, especially if you've never carried one in Maryland, you're gonna be like, oh my God, you're gonna overthink it. It's not that big of a deal. I know not everyone's in here for the concealed carry side of things. Like we got 2 people in here just doing HQL, which is needed to buy hanging in Maryland. But I know a majority of you guys are in here regarding the concealed carry side of things. Again, nothing I say is going to change the way that first week or two even goes. It's just eventually with time and stuff and experience, it'll become a second nature thing. You'll grab your keys, you grab your wallet, you grab your gun. I'm more inclined to forget my wallet at the house than I will forget my gun. Today can take as short or as long as it needs to take. It's not one of those things like, oh, I got to get out of here by 5 and stuff to get back over the bridge. I don't give a shit. So if you guys have questions, please ask. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the Maryland law portion. This will be about 1 hour and 10 minutes long. And after that, we'll have a Q&A, and that can last as long as it needs to take. We're going to get started, and again, ask any and all questions. Write them down, text it to yourself, whatever you got to do, all right? Alcohol served, you cannot carry while intoxicated. That's exactly how it's worded. So I could carry in Applebee's after church. We got the class started. How we've started doing things, we started this last year when COVID started popping off, is we have an instructional video that we've made. It's me featured in there. It's my material. Use the same PowerPoints that I used to teach, with, and they're upgraded. But why I started using these videos was so that we could limit the amount of people that are in the room, because we had all the code restrictions. You can have 10 people in there. Well, if the instructor's not in there, we can say there's only 10 instead of 11. But also, when going through the class, I love what I do. I love passing on this information to people, but I can take a simple question that people have in class and I can turn it into a 20-minute answer. And now, basic pistol, teaching it only takes me about 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'm just going over the material, all right? But with the questions that we have that would pop up during the class and stuff, now that hour and 10 minutes just turned into 3 hours. No shit. So to keep the class focused, to have a little bit more respect for the students' time, because a lot of times they might say, oh, the class was supposed to be from 8 o'clock until 1 p.m., but now because of all the questions and my ability to just really build upon that answer, now that 8 to 1 class turned into 8 until 3 p.m. And people would come to class and they got plans maybe after class. And so anyway, to keep it all focused and stuff, what I started doing is presenting the material via video, and then afterwards I answer any and all questions. That also helps cut down on presenting the material twice, because sometimes I'd be in the class, teaching the class, and somebody would ask a question about material that we're about to go over, or we haven't yet gone over, about to go over. And I didn't like just telling people, we're going to go in that in a moment. I always just go ahead and hit the question to answer that. So with this, we cut down a lot of the questions because the material is allowed to be presented in full, and then if they have any questions after that, we're able to answer those. So now, the video for Maryland Law, it's about 1 hour and 6 minutes long. The Q&A, depending on the size of the class, usually is anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes long. So now what I used to take about 3 hours to do, we're doing that in an hour and a half. Then we do a break, and we come back, we do basic pistol. Basic pistol is about an hour and 20 minutes long. All right, then we do a Q&A, which usually that I've always found that the Q&A after the basic pistol video is a lot shorter than Maryland law. I don't know if I was more thorough in building the basic pistol video or what, but I tend not to have as many questions after basic pistol video as I do Maryland law. But just say it's 10 to 15 minutes long of Q&A. All right, so now an hour and a half to do Maryland law, an hour and a half to do basic pistol, and we can spend a lot more time getting hands-on with the firearms, whether it's the disassembly, reassembly, cleaning, whether it's drawing and reholstering, whether it's talking about holster itself, whether it's talking about more about concealed carry. We can present a lot more material in a lot more timely fashion the way we're doing things now. Not only that, but guess what? While this video is playing, the video's in there playing right now, and work's getting done. Material's being taught, students are learning, but guess what? I'm able to go out here and get other things done too. We're about to set the range for tomorrow, and also we got to set the range for today too, because we have the basic pistol HQL students. They got to do a live fire portion too, so we're gonna have that all set up and ready to go. So now, what I used to have to, what would take so much longer, you know, a 5-hour class, you should take 7 hours and take 2 to 3 people to put on that event. Well, guess what? Now I can do that same event in 5 hours and only have 1 instructor. So this is the range out here at the Hurlock location, and this is gonna be our first class we've held here. I've obviously been out here a time or two before to check out the venue with the host, as well as bringing the trailer out the other day. This is the range, like this, generally speaking, if I were to have my own land and my own spot to shoot and stuff, which I'm trying to eventually buy some land and stuff for private use and whatnot, this is pretty much what I would want to build. You know, the pavilion, I would make little changes to make it a little taller and whatnot. Maybe mount fans and stuff for the hot summers and stuff. I might build up, because if you see here, there's the berm out there that we're going to be shooting into, obviously. We got the target stand bases out there. There's a little bit of berm on the left over here, a little bit of berm on the right. But I would maybe take everything that's here and make it a little bit bigger. Again, a little bit bigger pavilion, a little bit longer range, so we can do a little bit more different types of train courses, build up the berms a little bit on the sides, a little bit more. Not so much for physical safety, but because it's safe as it is, but try to cut down some of that noise maybe that can escape the range. But this is very nice, very secluded, very cost effective. You know, some people like to shoot indoors, and I get that. I personally prefer both personally and professionally to shoot outdoors like this. It allows us to be able to do so much more and have a lot more, you know, freedom in how we can conduct things. That, and, like, you know, from a business standpoint or whatnot, or even a personal standpoint, if you're going to build your own little range, it's not cost effective really to do a indoor range. That's why you pay indoor prices. If you go to indoor ranges, always going to pay, you know, at least double to be able to do that as a shooter. But for outdoor and stuff, this is a lot more affordable. Like, outside the cost of the land itself, that's going to dictate wherever you're at and stuff. But, you know, this range right here, I could probably replicate this exact range when it comes to building the berms and the pavilion and the concrete and all that stuff. You know, this could probably be replicated for about $25,000 to $30,000. You know, what I would probably want would probably cost, you know, between $50,000 to $55,000 and whatnot, especially with the increased lumber prices. But this is nice. This works perfect for what we're trying to do. I'm definitely going to be trying to find more ways that we can use this location. You know, maybe do a class every 2 to 3 months out here, which is pretty often compared to what we've been doing, especially in this area. But I'm going to be looking at maybe trying to do a vehicle ambush course out here, do a Ar-15 training course out here. The way that this is set up is very conducive for a lot of different classes, whether for myself and what I teach, or bring in these outside instructors that we do. You know, maybe I'll have Jason McCoy come out here to the Eastern Shore for handgun 1, handgun 2. We'll see. So, but I'm definitely real excited about this and what this can bring for the future of PTP. So these are our target stands. We actually got them custom made. They have our logo in there and whatnot. So the way that these, we made them specifically so that they fit these 1x. We used to use 2x4s, but we use 1x now because one, they're cheaper. Two, they take up less room in the trailer, so we can fit a lot more and have a lot of extras. But you can slide that in there, slide that in here. I don't really use the middle one hardly ever. All right, and then not only that, but it's made so that you can use this as a stabilizer. All right, so that if the wind's blowing left or, if it's blowing from the back to the front, all right, it's got a little more extra weight before it flips over. We can even honestly we can have one going both ways. So, and this all stacks up real easy. All these, I can probably fit like 100 of these 1x in that barrel. And then these stack up real nice and stuff. And I had these custom made, obviously. They were, I want to say give or take like 45, 50 bucks. But they have our logo in there. It's raw metal. We didn't get them all sandblasted and stuff because occasionally people do shoot them. And it's just gonna mess up the finish anyway. So, but they work for what we're trying to do. And I've probably had this set now for about a year and a half. We've been through a couple different generations. Like I said, initially in the very beginning, before I can afford any of this stuff, because I started this with $100 in my savings account, so we had to do what we could do. So what we used to do was we used to set up a T-post, and then we had long ass 1x, and so we put it up the T-post, let's say 2 of them, and we had long ass 1x, and they would be stringing across, and they would be zip tied to the T-post, and then the targets would come down from there. We'd have 1, 2, so we could stay at the top and then the bottom. And that worked for, I think we did that for like 6 months or so in the beginning, and then I ended up getting a guy to make pretty much a target stand that was a lot like this, but again, they used 2x4s, which worked great. It worked fine, but I ended up getting these so that, again, we can cut down on the amount of space in our trailers that we needed for wood. Like I said, these are so much better. These last just as long as the 2x4s, but again, they are just a lot smaller. And you get all these staples that are getting caught up in there. You get some of the paper that rips off from the targets. Not a big deal. And again, because it's relatively affordable, I'll take these, and every 3 to 4 months, because we use them a lot. Every 3 or 4 months, I just throw them in the bonfire, burn them all up and stuff, and buy new ones. And they usually come, I think, about 8-foot lengths. So I buy a bundle of like 6 of them, cut them in half, and now you got enough, for that one bundle for 6 different target stands. All right, so we're not quite done setting up the range yet, but the video is about to be done. We got about 6 minutes left on the video, so when we'll be in there ready for that so that we can go right into Q&A, answer any questions they might have. Then we'll go do a 10-minute break, and after that, we'll get back on a basic pistol, do a video for that, which is about 1 hour and 16 minutes long. And while that's playing, we'll get back out here and get finished setting up. But for now, we gotta get back in there for the Q&A. What's the biggest magazine you can own in Maryland? Trick question. You can own whatever you want. You just cannot buy them in Maryland. You cannot sell them in Maryland. You can't even make them in Maryland, but you can own them. Like, that's not like, just buy them in Virginia and sneak them back. You don't have to sneak them back. It's perfectly legal for you to own them and use them and bring them back in. You just cannot, that transaction can't happen in Maryland. So every time they do shit like that, every time they raise the cigarette tax and the gas tax, people just love Virginia more and more. Go over there, get that stuff, come right on back. Can you carry in a school? Civically, you cannot carry in a public school, but you can carry in a private school. You just cannot carry in, again, a public school. So, can you carry in a church? Yeah. Yep. Can you carry in a daycare? If it's in-home, yes. If it's in like one of those public places and stuff like that, a commercial building, then no. All right. So it's kind of similar to the whole private school, public school thing to a certain extent. All right. Can you own AR-15s in Maryland? It's not really civic, and we didn't really go over that, but can you own AR-15s in Maryland? Yeah, AR-15s are legal in Maryland. No, it's like misnomer that I find a lot. People are like, yeah, you can't buy them. They ban them. No, they ban certain types and certain combinations of parts and stuff. But in general, no, you can. And like one of the honestly, two of the highest quality AR-15 building companies are based in Maryland. LWRC over here on the Eastern Shore, I think down in Cambridge, and then F4 Defense over in St. Mary's County and stuff. So yeah, they're legal for you to own, build, make. You can make your own if you wanted to. You don't have to have a permit to make your own and whatnot. But go ahead. It is 9:41 now. Smoke if you got them outside, get some fresh air. Bathroom right there. It's 9:41. Try to be back in here at 9:55 because at 9:55, whether you're in here or not, I'm gonna get started with the next part of the video. All right, we're gonna get into basic pistol next. All right. Students back in the classroom. We got basic pistol rolling. What we're gonna go ahead and do is I drop the trailer off so I can get around a little easier. Drop the trailer off. We're about to go to get some food real quick for lunch for myself, videographer Che, and Aaron. I gotta get something to drink. They don't sell drinks over there, so we gotta go hit a gas station. Let's see what I want to get. Let's see. Aaron texts me back. She wants to see a sweet tea. Let's see. I'm gonna get a twisted tea just to mess with her. I'm not gonna actually make her drink it, but. Boom. So I saw this girl, she's in the car next to us, and she had her phone out. She's trying to get a picture of the car, so instead I'm just gonna jump out and give her a brochure real quick at this light. Hey. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you. She was ready for me too. So we got Aaron her lunch and stuff. She asked for a sweet tea, so we gave her a twisted tea. Not really. I got her a regular tea in the truck, but I just wanted to mess with her a little bit. So let's see if we get her out here, get her lunch. It looks pretty good too. I already ate all my food. But no, your soup's in there. I think your fries are in that.
Thank you.
You got your tea.
Your tea's right there.
Oh my God.
No, just funny. But he was like, dude, you should get her a twisted tea. And I was like, oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
He was like, yeah, she wants a sweet tea. I was like, dude, get her a twisted tea.
Light green is light green one of these are 22s. And then the darker green like that is 9 mils. So is the gray ones. The gray one's also 9 mil. When it comes to cleaning a firearm, it's all generally the same, all right? You want to spray it down, brush it down, wipe it down, Q-tip. You don't want to leave, generally you don't want to leave much of this residue left and stuff. It's not going to hurt anything, like especially that ram oil. The ram oil is a cleaner and lubricant in one. So if there's any of the ram oil left on the gun, yeah, it may not be cleaning the gun anymore, but it's kind of acting as a lubricant almost. And that's another question that people ask too, like, do I need to lubricate my gun? Do I need to like oil my gun? That's a personal preference thing. I can tell you that I run all these guns, you know, and my guns personally and whatnot, the classes or otherwise, I run my guns dry. Like I don't lubricate them at all, and I've never had any problems. You know, it's not so much of a big of a worry, you know, in this environment and stuff, but like if you leave lubricant and stuff on your firearms and stuff, it's going to attract dust and dirt and stuff. So you have to clean them more often and whatnot. But we're going to go ahead and get into reassembly. I'm not going to grade you on how clean or how dirty these firearms are. Like I said, they're pretty relatively clean from the get-go. It's just a matter of getting through the cycle and understanding how it all works. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start. It's pretty much everything, same thing in reverse order. All right. So we're going to start with the slide upside down. We're going to start with the barrel. All right. The muzzle end first. Set it in its place. You want to have it slide back. The barrel is going to protrude outside of the front. The muzzle is going to protrude out like a centimeter or two, all right? Not even a centimeter, millimeter or two, all right? That's acceptable and normal. This is not, all right? So that is not, this is what it should look like, all right? Once you have that in there, all right, some of the Glock 17s might be a little bit different, all right? But for the most part, like a lot of Gen 4s, Gen 5s that we have out here, the spring looks like this. There's kind of a fatter, longer end and a shorter, skinnier end, all right? So you're gonna have the longer, fatter end. That's gonna insert first into the muzzle end of that slide, all right? You're gonna compress that spring down just a little bit with your finger, and it's gonna get caught in the bottom of that barrel. When you look at the bottom of the barrel, it looks kind of like the stoop on the front of your house, maybe the steps of your house. You got 1, 2, 3 steps. All right, one of the steps you'll see is kind of curved a little bit. That little curve is where that spring is going to, spring guide is going to rest in. I'm gonna come by and make sure everyone's on the same page, and then we're gonna get into the next steps. So don't try to get ahead at all on this next step. Yep, good, good, yep. Good. And then this is gonna go here. Yep, exactly right there. Yep, you had it right.
This.
Yep, and you're gonna press that down.
I have my personal trainer here.
Good. All right, so I didn't want you to jump ahead. I'm gonna show you why. All right, because again, I want to give you a reminder that right now, does this matter where this is pointed at, right? But when we do this next step, it's gonna be a no shit firearm. So again, at that point, this is a what firearm? Loaded firearm, right? So what I don't want to do is I want you to get to this part and you're like, oh yeah, and then again, let's say there's a person over there. I don't want you to put this together and now you have it pointed at Bobby or Susie over there. So again, from this point, we're going to start treating it like it's a loaded firearm again. So, but getting into this, we have our slide assembly and we have our frame. You'll notice on the top of the frame, right, there is like these metal rails here that start here. You're going to insert those into a cutout that's on the back of that slide. All right, it's going to look like that. All right, so it's not all the way nose to butt. All right, it's coming in a little bit. And you're going to insert those rails into the cutout at the bottom of the slide. Insert those in. Push, continue to push, guiding that through the frame through the slide. Again, make sure it's pointed in a safe direction. Pull back, let go. So we're going to do what's called a functions check. All right, go ahead, point in a safe direction. Go ahead and pull that trigger. Take that slide, pull it back, let go. But did anybody feel anything weird? Was anything not working the way you thought it might supposed to? All right, let go. There you go. Pull the trigger, pull back and let go. Do it again. One more time. Good. So again, we want to make sure we do that so that we are confident we put it back together properly. I say that because I, just like anybody else, screw up, and I've actually put together a firearm improperly, and it's locked up and stuff. If you see that, if you realize that, take it back apart, put it back together, function check it, make sure it's working properly. This would be the time to find that out, not if you have to pull your firearm out tomorrow night in your home and you go to pull a trigger and nothing happens. That's where you want to figure that out now. So we have now field stripped, cleaned, and reassembled our firearm, and we have function checked to make sure it's working properly.
I'm just gonna trust what you're saying. You never planned. Kid through the valley, we walk through the fire. Your grace is amazing. I trust what you're saying. You never planned.
For HQL in Maryland, they have to shoot one live round. Now we're not gonna do one live round a day. We're gonna do 5. But that's what the state police requires. You shoot one live round.
I'm just gonna trust what you're saying.
All right, so go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and grab that with your dominant hand. All right, go ahead and take that magazine, index that magazine. Good. Insert, tap. Good. Now, sometimes when you do that, and the same for you as well, sometimes when you tap, the slide will jump forward, so you don't have to rack. Right, so that in that case, now you don't have to rack because it did it for you and stuff. It's not always gonna be the case, but just so you know. So now you're ready. Go ahead and get your good grip. Yep. Yep. So I'll adjust you a little bit. See right here. Perfect. That's actually good right there. Yep. Now increase the gap between feet just a little bit for me. Press out and be firm. Line your sights up with that target. And whenever you're ready, slowly pull. Good. Dead center.
You never planned. Kid through the valley, we walk through the fire. Your grace is amazing. I trust what you're saying. You never planned. I know that you work every drive. Feel good if I stay and be patient. When I walk in the valley, yeah, you're there with me.
You guys are good to go. You guys have now completed the training. You have the information you need in order to apply for your HQO. You guys have any questions at all for me? All right, good to go.
Everything's pretty straightforward. I'm sure if I got any other questions, I'll pass them along.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I appreciate y'all coming out.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're in the final stretch of day 1. After that, we'll do a debrief, get them out, and then it's range day tomorrow. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you haven't yet already, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, go make sure if you're not watching from Rumble, make sure you go to Rumble and find us on there, PTP Gun, and subscribe on there. Appreciate y'all. Stay safe, and let's get back at it.
Roll me right through the valley and stand on the mountaintop. No more reason to doubt, 'cause your love is a fountain drop. Now I won't be scared if I'm gonna make it out tonight.
holsters, when you're buying a holster, there's two things that the holster is doing. One, it's securing that firearm onto your body, all right? And then two, it's protecting that trigger. And that's probably one of the more important parts, is it securing not only, again, to your body, but protecting that trigger. When your firearm's in that holster, you shouldn't be able to see or access that trigger. If I wanted to, I cannot fit my finger down in there and be able to get to that trigger, or my kids' fingers can't fit in there and get down to that trigger. Guns, I know that they might have said something different in the media and stuff, but guns don't just go off by themselves, right? The trigger has to be pulled. It doesn't have to be pulled by a human being, all right? It can be pulled, not just your finger can pull that trigger. You know, it could be, like if you were to have a smaller gun, you decide you wanted a pocket carry and just put it in your pocket. I've got a knife in my pocket, I've got chapstick in my pocket, I've got a bunch of different shit that can fit into that trigger guard and can apply backwards pressure to that trigger. Aside of carrying a bag, which I would recommend against, whether it's a laptop bag or a purse or whatever it might be, a gym bag, I would not recommend you do that. But if you do that, make sure you don't just throw your gun in that bag. Make sure that you are securing that trigger guard some way, shape, or form to protect it. Make sure nothing else can get in there and pull that trigger, especially in a bag. I mean, you know, there's tons of things in a bag, in general speak, that can get in there and apply backwards pressure. Also with the whole bag thing too, and another reason why I recommend against it is because I at least know myself. I'm not putting this on anybody else, but I know myself. I know that I've forgotten a bag, like my laptop bag. I've forgotten it at places. And or people that wait to steal shit sometimes. And bags, whether it's a computer bag or a purse or whatever it might be, a lot of times they have valuable things in it. People want to snatch and grab real quick, and then they dump the bag. So now they got your laptop, or they got your phone, they got your keys, they got your gun. You know, having a level 2 or a level 3 will not holster, that's something you're going to be more inclined to think about when you're deciding to open carry. There's different ways that it attaches to your belt, all right? Because when you're doing this, you're going to have a belt, obviously. It's going to attach to that. This, like how this piece comes on and off, all right, I got to take my entire belt off, all right. I have actually a holster over here too for my magazines. I'm going to put that on the back here. This is just something that I use to clip my keys to my belt line, something to put in my pockets, right. Pull this through, and what I tend to try to do is I try to weave the belt through. So there's two belt loops on the actual device of whatever's holding that firearm to your holster to your belt. So I usually try to do holster loop, belt loop in the middle, right, and then holster loop again. That keeps it from sliding all too much, and also it kind of secures it better to your body if it's woven through there, all right. Some of these holsters, you have to have your belts entirely off like that in order to put the holster on. Some you can do it with the belt already on. So I'll show you different ones. In general, the easier it is for the holster to come on, is the easier it can fall off when you don't mean for it to. So there's something to think about as well. Yeah, it's easy to come on and off when you want it to, but it also is easier for it to come off when you don't want it to. And then in general, what I do is I don't cinch my belt down super tight. Nice and firm, all right, but not super tight, honestly. All right. All right, and then you can have this, you can move it around a little bit from there. All right, the firearm goes in, and it kind of clicks into place. Now we'll say this is adjustable. So this is a level 1 holster. There's no device you have to do to disengage, but it does have, it's made for a specific gun, and it is held in there by tension. All right, that tension is adjustable. You can make it tighter or looser. Right now, it's relatively loose. I can pull it out very easily. All right. What I would say, generally speaking, if I was going to be using this and carrying this every day, what I would advise you to do is to tighten that as tight as you can, yet you can proficiently get that firearm out every time you pull it out. So, shoulder the way, high firm grip. Both hands are doing something. Notice where you can kind of see the form of my gun. Where is my finger in relation to the firearm itself? It's up there near that frame. It's not down by the trigger part, all right? It's up there near that frame, all right? So 2, got step 1 down, which is just verbally, what is step 1? Shoulder the way and high firm grip. All right, when I get a high firm grip, all right, I'm kind of tucking my hand up into what's called that tang, all right? So what I'm doing is I'm not just grabbing the firearm, pulling it out, and I can get my good grip then. I'm getting my good grip, all right from the get, all right? So I got my finger where it needs to be, I got my thumb in the middle, I got my fingers wrapped around my grip, high firm grip, All right, and 2, what do you think 2 is gonna be? All right, I gotta get that firearm up out of that holster. All right, so I'm gonna pull that firearm up and out of that holster. How high am I gonna pull that up and out of there? All right, anybody union? All right, just enough, just good enough to get by. All right, anybody government, anything like that? No? All right, cool. All right, so just enough. This is too much, this is not really necessary. This is not high enough. All right, so just enough to clear that holster. All right, now 3, all right, 3 parts of 3. Forget the shirt. You're rotating the firearm up towards that target, and you're establishing your two-handed grip. All right, notice from here, all right, my firearm, generally speaking, is already orientated towards my target, towards my threat. All right, I'm not aiming at all, am I? I can't see my sights, I can't, and you're not supposed to, you don't need to. I've had some people that they try to do this at 3. That's not 3. 3 is right here, all right? If you needed to, at 3, if I had to, could I begin to fire from here? All right, in a situation, why would I do that? Because it's say, again, he's rushing at me with a knife. All right, if I go to draw my firearm out and he's right at me with a knife, I have my firearm here. I don't have time to, because every little second counts. I don't have time to press out, aim, and then shoot. I have to pull and say at that point he's already right there. If he's right there, is it very likely that I'm probably gonna hit him? Do I need to really aim in order to hit him from 2 feet away? All right, but if I have the time and opportunity, great, create space and aim, but not always will you have that opportunity. If I'm wrestling with somebody on the ground and shit, and like I feel like I need to, defend myself in the way of using deadly force, I don't have to pull my firearm out, create space in between them, and shoot them. I could begin to pull my firearm out and get them off me that way. Does that make sense? But that's step 3. So share the way, high firm grip, get the firearm up out of the holster. 2. 3 parts of 3. Forget the shirt. You're rotating the firearm up toward that target, and you're establishing that two-handed grip. Notice my two-handed grip. My grip here, when I'm done with 3, is the same grip I have at 4. All right, dominant thumb on top of non-dominant thumb. All right, fingers up on that frame until I'm ready, until I'm out at 4 and ready to fire. All right, so 4 is very simple. 4, press out, bringing the gun out and up. What you're not doing, all right, is you're not bowling. Don't do this shit. All right, does everybody see the pond out back? All right, it doesn't matter if you see the pond or not, there's a pond out back, but we're not fishing. All right, so you're not gonna go like this shit. All right, you're not gonna, what's the quickest way to get from point A to point B? Straight line, not this. Like the bullets don't come out faster. You can't sling around corners of buildings and shit if you do this. That doesn't do anything for you. All right, so the quickest way to go from point A to point B is straight across. All right, you bring the gun up and out. You're bringing it up and out to your eye line. So like we showed in the video, the O in 4, all right, that is my target, all right? There is an invisible line between my eye and that target, all right? That's what I'm referring to as my line of sight. I'm bringing the gun out and I'll line up my sights to that line. What I'm not doing is I'm not gonna bring the gun out and adjust that line down to the gun. Bring that gun up and out to the eye line. All right, the gun does whatever you tell it to do. So if you want to bring it out like this and then try to squat your body and conform your body to the gun, you can do that. But if you also want to stand up straight, pull a little weight behind that gun and bring the gun up to you, make the gun do whatever you want it to do, it'll also do that too. Guns do whatever you allow it to do, all right? Everything you do to get out to 4 is the same thing in reverse when you go to holster. So it's time to holster. All right, what I don't want to see you do is I don't want to see you do a good draw, present, shoot, and you fire one good round, and then you're done. You're like, oh, shit, yeah. Wow. And then just try to put that shit in there. It's not done just because you maybe shot. I see people like, they're all excited because they either hit the target great or they missed and like, oh, God, and they just whatever. Don't overthink it. Even though I just said whatever I just said and stuff, don't overthink anything. Like, that's how people screw it up a lot of times. They overthink shit too much. Like, it's loaded now, though. Like, nothing's different. I should be handling this blue gun here the same way I'm handling that live loaded gun tomorrow. When I leave here today, I'm handling this the same way as I would a loaded gun and stuff. We'll establish those good habits. It ultimately all comes down to you and how you handle that firearm. So, but in the end, do whatever is most comfortable for you, though. So, but know that tomorrow, if you're using a gun, you're using a gun without a safety, though. So again. Nice, guy, almost right on time. It's almost right at 3. So if you have nothing else from me, I have nothing else for you. If anybody has any questions, stuff, you can pull me aside after I let everyone go. But other than that, I will see you all back in here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. All right, see y'all in the morning. All right, guys, so we got done here in Hurlock for day one. We are all torn down and don't have anything left here that we don't need for tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and go out of here, get Big Bertha dropped off, and we'll be back in the morning. Tomorrow is the start of day two. We're gonna get right into drawing and reholstering and get into the live fire. And we're gonna incorporate a little bit of steel shooting tomorrow too, so tomorrow's gonna be real fun. I'm really looking excited to that. And real excited to go home and get a nice cold drink and some food in me. So let's go out of here. Appreciate you guys.